So check this out. Here's 7 ab exercises for a complete core program that you can integrate into your training week. For me, these are the main ones that I could implement and build a bulletproof core. So the hollow hold is still something we do a lot here at the gym, teaching stiffness, keeping our rib cage down. So a couple of things. I'm gonna go point my toes, and I really wanna bring my shoulders off the ground and create a lot of tension here, right? What I say is that, like, I want the crinkles in the shirt, right? This is smooth shirt, crinkles in the shirt. I'm looking forward, I'm pushing my low back into the ground, and I'm reaching, right? And again, I can control here to make it a little more challenging, but I never want to be able to put a hand underneath my low back because it's driving into the ground, right? And the more that I kind of curl up and create tension, the harder it's gonna be. I could even squeeze a ball here, create more tension around it. And usually when I hold this from anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds at the most, but I prefer to be like 30 to 45 and then just making it more challenging. So that's our hollow hold. All right, so this is the hanging knee raise. There's a couple variations, you know. Again, some people will go toes to bar. I like to have these straps because it means that, like, my grip is not gonna be the limiting factor. And if I wanna train my abs, I don't wanna have grip be the limiting factor, right? So getting my feet into here, I'll show you 2 variations. What I really like with the hanging knee raise is to keep my feet in front of me. So I wanna drive up, control down, keep the feet in front of me so my abs stay on. Now I can go up, extend, control to make it harder. Up. And then again, with that variation, I'm feeling everything in my abs. The reason why I want to keep the feet in front of me is I keep this core tension. If you let them go back, now I'm in my low back. So this just keeps constant ab tension. Again, this is like a 12 to 15 reps, 8 to 10 if you don't have that fitness level yet. And again, start with just a knee drive, then you can go knee drive to extended leg. And from there, you can just go fully just extended legs up and down. All right, so the ab rollout, probably one of my favorite exercises for the abs, for the core. So I'm gonna start from a kneeling position. I'm gonna show you this variation too, where we can spice it up a little bit by putting the Dynaball behind my feet, squeezing it like a hamstring curl. And I'll also show you kind of like the standing variation, which is a very, very kind of difficult progression. But the key here is, number one, I wanna make sure my neck is in a good position so I'm not reaching forward when I do this, right? I'm gonna pack my chin, I'm gonna exhale. I wanna keep my rib cage down, pause, and then pull back, right? Keeping those lats on the whole time. I shouldn't feel anything in my back. All right, everything should be here. Okay, now check this out. This seems like a little thing, but actually makes it much, much more challenging. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my heel into my butt. So I'm squeezing this ball. What this is doing is turning my hamstrings on, putting my pelvis in a different position, making it harder for my abs, right? So significantly harder, right? So I'm squeezing, rolling. You'd be surprised how one little thing like that can make a world of difference. Now, if we're taking it to a whole nother level, and again, I don't do these often, but it's being able to stand up, rolling out, bringing it back in. And you can see that that's even pretty challenging for me from that position, right? Now, those would be low rep, 3 to 5, but on the rollouts, usually I'm gonna be somewhere in that 8 to 12 range with pristine form. So good old farmer's walks. And again, like, look, I like them for core even with a double KB. I really like them for an anti-movement doing single arm. And I'm just gonna march on the spot so you guys don't watch me walking here, right? But I wanna make sure that it's not pulling me down, right? So I'm really feeling that oblique. And again, if I was walking, but I could also be marching on the spot. Again, very, very challenging anti-core movement. And here's where, like, how long? I usually would say 30 to 60 seconds. Again, there's a grip component here too, right? Where we go per side. I mean, obliques are getting torched and lit up. Another thing that you can do that's kind of add movement. I like this too, like suitcase RDLs / suitcase deadlifts, right? Where I same thing. I want to make sure it's not rotating me, flexing me to the side. Right, so my core has to resist all that movement. And those are fantastic. We use those a lot. And here's the thing, load those babies up, right? You want to challenge yourself. Obviously, you shouldn't look crappy. Should look like you're staying upright, but challenge yourself with those core knitters. So this is the Bruce Lee Dragon Flag, and I will show you kind of the regression to this, which is kind of a reverse crunch. But if you can do this, this is incredible for building abs. And I'm gonna go kind of roll up and then control down, and then also show you one where I'm just kind of moving up and down. Again, tons and tons of tension. Again, another anti-movement. Now you can do this on the bench as well. I find it's a little bit more shoulder friendly on a rig, because on the bench you have to grab the bench here. So if you don't have that range of motion, it can be challenging. On the rig, I can grab a little bit higher, right? So what I'm gonna do is, in this scenario first, I'll show you the first level of this, right? Where I'm going to kind of roll up and then extend and then control. All the way down, slowly. Again, roll up. Right, the harder variation would be, again, where I'm trying to actually move, right? So I'm much more challenging. That's why you don't hear me talk. And then we have, like, if I kind of regressed it here, I'd go into reverse crunch. Right, the reverse crunch would be, I'm going to drive my knees to my elbows and then kind of extend my legs as much as I can and just control and then bring it back in, right? So I can control the lever, right? The longer the lever, the harder it's gonna be. The shorter lever, the little easier it's gonna be, but challenging nonetheless. Dragon flags, I'm gonna do usually somewhere between the 5 to 10 rep range. Reverse crunches, I probably do in a 8 to 12 rep range, right? Because again, dragon flags, much more challenging, like needing an incredible amount of core strength, but fantastic exercise. So this will be a cross body chop, but chops in general, just chop variations, are almost present in every program. And again, these tend to, if you do it right, this can be challenging, and you should always challenge yourself from core stuff. I see a lot of people make it so light and then it's just going for the burn, 20, 30, 40, 50 reps, things of that nature. But hey, like, abs need to be trained like any other muscle. All right, progressively over a little bit, challenge it. And I'll kind of break down, the rep ranges a little bit at the end. But this is one example. I love this one. So this one is going to be a resisting rotation, where I'm going to chop across fast and then control it back, right, without rotating my hips. So you can see a little bit of wider stance, soft knees, I'm braced. Control. Fast, but I'm not moving my hips. Right?
So fast, now control. Now there's also where we can start adding hip movement, also still core work.
But in this scenario, I might be turning here, right? Almost be like a med ball throw. Right, so my abs are still working, but now it's more dynamic. And usually what we'll do is we'll start with static resisting rotation and then add speed. Again, these could also be med ball wall throws. And I can also change locations, right? So if I change, this ankle is great, so this easily adjustable. As I can go half moon position, we can go down, up. Right, and we can chop down. So there's a lot of variations that we can do, but chops in general, half kneeling, tall kneeling, standing. Again, I just wanted to show you some of them. We'll usually do those somewhere between, again, 8 to 12, and some are more focused on speed, some are focused on speed and then eccentric control. So it just depends. But again, a lot of anti-rotational, anti-movement ab movements. All right, we'll show one where we do train, again, some flexion here. This is the Yonder sit-up, or some people call it the Yonder sit-up. Learned this one from Pavel a long time ago, where I do like to implement some of these movements to strengthen the core. Now, this one is challenging because I'm going to inhibit, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive my heels into, I would say, into the dumbbells. And that way, my hip flexors are going to kind of tune down so for my abs to work more. I'm going to use zero momentum, right? I don't want any momentum here. And I'm going to slowly reach forward and then control down. Now, this is way harder than it looks because, again, once you kind of take the hip flexors out of it and go slow, it's all abs. Woo! I think I noticed I got no momentum. I'm driving down. Ooh, wait. So I just gave you a sample of those 3. Okay, and so I would go 5 to 8 at most on this. You might go like, what, that's it? Try 5 to 6 reps like that with a super slow control. Like, you'll be sore, right? Now, if there was another variation that I would do in flexion, you don't see me with it right now, but I'm hooking my feet in now. It's a little different. And I would use a kettlebell, okay? So imagine I got a 35-pound kettlebell. I'm gonna use my abs here to get up. And I'm gonna control it out with my ab. Obviously, feet are hooked differently. If I had one choice, I'd do the on the sit-up. I did that for a couple years when I was learning for Pavel, and man, my abs got stronger, all my lifts went up. So this is a great one to implement. All right, so check this out, how to integrate these movements. On your upper body days, if you're doing upper body days, I would do things like ab rollouts, like yonder sit-ups, like dragon flags, in the 6 to 10 rep range, right? Even suitcase carries, 30 seconds per side on that single arm, because those are heavier, right? So we're gonna do lower rep ranges on that. Then on your lower body days, hanging knee raises, chops, things that are more body weight based, that would be like 10 to 15 reps. That's where I would put those. Now, if you're doing full body training sessions, I would just alternate between, again, heavier, lower rep. And when I say heavier, on the sit-ups, even though you're not using weight, they're more challenging. You're doing that for 5 to 8 reps. Rollouts, 6 to 10 reps, right? Again, you do that on one day and you do the higher rep stuff on another day. 3 to 4 sets, pick 2 exercises towards the end of the training session and rock and roll with it. Okay, so for more tips like this to look, feel, perform like an athlete without nagging aches and pains, make sure to subscribe to this channel.